Harrison Kinley pulled the journal out from behind the wall in the crawl space and flipped it open, the pages fluttering as he did. It looked full of text and some diagrams. He wondered who had left it and when. It was rather dusty and was probably hidden behind that wall for quite some time. The house was fairly new. He had gotten it for a steal with the aid of MC Realty and moved in last week. It was old and run down, but he had trade experience, and with a little help he'd be able to fix it up and flip it for a nice profit. But for now, he slumped down on the floor against the wall and flipped to the first page of this mysterious journal. There was a dark spot on the first page. It almost looked like dried blood. He quickly turned to the next page, which was mostly text. He began to read.
Alexander Cuthridge, Journal Entry 1. House seems nice enough. Family should be happy here. Lots of room for Jonas and Maggie to play. Isabel's going to love the rooms upstairs. Plenty of space for her things. I saw a room I turned into an office of sorts. Maybe a library.
Harrison thought to himself. This is a journal from other occupants of the house. He flipped to a later entry.
The house is absolutely beautiful. Even more so now that we've done some minor renovations. The kids' rooms are finally complete. I've been building the shelving for the library. Only another week or two before it gets done. Still gotta find the source of that creaking, though. Apparently it's been driving Isabel crazy. I haven't heard it myself, but from what she's told me, it sounds like it's coming from the attic.
Harrison put down the journal to continue working. He would go back to it later on. It might even be useful finding out little quirks about the house ahead of time. Later that night, after a long day of working on the house in a hot shower, Harrison picked up the journal once again. He flipped to an entry even later on in the book.
Entry 23. The noise from the attic is getting worse and worse. I tried to go check it out, but when I reached the top of the ladder leading into the attic, I was just overwhelmed with the feeling of discomfort. Evil. Something. Like there's this force stopping me from going up there.
Harrison's brow furrowed. What an odd thing to write about. Did this guy lose his mind? Just then, Harrison heard a loud creaking echoing throughout the walls of the house. He froze. There is no way, he thought. This guy's journal just has me spooked. I read about those creaks and now I'm hearing them too. I just gotta go to bed. Harrison was awoken a few hours later by another loud creak, which sounded more like a groan than anything. He shot up out of bed and turned on his bedside light in a panic. He grabbed the journal off his side table and began to page through it, trying to find any section that instructed him on how to stop the horrifying noise. He came to a page that was totally full of what looked like nonsense writing. Words everywhere, many of them scribbled out. Phrases like, "It's hungry," and "our responsibility," with 4 stick figures drawn beneath the words. On the very next page was one line, written with extreme neatness right at the top of the page. How to stop the creak. Harrison turned the page.
If you are reading this, it means you are most likely a future occupant of this home. And perhaps you found this journal in a mad attempt to stop the terrible creaking and groaning of this infernal house. If so, you are in luck. I went through something similar, and I'm happy to tell you I figured out the secret. First, you must enter the attic through the attic ladder located in the hallway in front of the master bedroom.
Harrison got out of bed and made his way to the pull-down ladder to enter the attic. As he made his way up, he felt somewhat strange, and then remembered the words previously written in the journal. A feeling of discomfort, a feeling of evil. He turned the page and read the next steps.
Now, in the attic, you'll see a series of candles spaced around the room, one in each corner. Light them all, but don't move them. I know this sounds ridiculous, but trust me, this works.
He glanced around, and sure enough, just as the journal said, there were a series of candles and old brass candle holders throughout the room. On one of the tables in front of him was a matchbox. He struck the match and proceeded to light the candles just as the journal said. He looked at the next step.
There will be a spot on the floor in the center of the room where moonlight is coming in. There will always be moonlight in this spot, regardless of the weather or position of the moon. Stand in it.
Harrison did just as the journal said, and then read further.
Once in the spot, recite the following phrase.
Harrison read the phrase, puzzled. He said it out loud to himself. "Now you may feed." What the hell does that mean? As soon as the words were uttered, a ghastly hissing and chittering filled the room. The attic ladder retracted and the door slammed shut. Dark figures emerged from the wall like shadows come to life, trailing behind them a thick, black smoke that filled the attic. Harrison screamed as he dropped the journal. As the shadows overtook him, he read the last line on the final page.
To the occupant, I am sorry. I am sorry for all who ventured here. However, the house must feed, and that is our responsibility now.
Harrison's screams slowly faded away as the attic was engulfed in blackness.
Well, hey there, folks. Welcome to MC Realty. My name is Maggie Cuthridge. How can I assist y'all today?
We were actually looking at some starter homes or fixer-uppers in the area. My husband and I want a new place to have our baby and start a family, but our budget isn't too big.
Well, let me tell you, you are in luck. I've got just the house for you, and its previous occupant just moved out.